Things have changed since the last Apocalypse Joust. More survivors have made their way to safety under the bridge. But it's a more dangerous and unpredictable world. Natural disasters can strike at any time. It's still survive or be destroyed. Welcome to the Apocalypse Joust.
25 cars and 5 more teams are competing in this qualifier, the 8th of 9. And it looks like some of these cars got a little dirty on the way here, maybe hit some sand or mud or something. Cookie's kept her team nice and pristine. Taking a closer look, up first is the Alaskan Assassins. They've got some weapons of survival. Cookie's Crumblers were created in the Team Forge, and they are competitors. The Iron Outcasts are a rusty, dusty team. Junkyard Terror, an unusual team of contraptions. And the Convoy, featuring a couple of extra long vehicles. Let's jump right into the joust. Here we go. Alaskan's Assassins starting off with Pickup Stick, sponsored by Judy Collins. Pickup Stick goes down to the end, plants itself. We'll see if that stick on the back actually picks anything up. Next up, Jacob, sponsored by Sinora for Cookie's Crumblers. Jacob hits the stick and makes a nice landing to a recovery, showing some nice balance. H2Go for the Iron Outcasts, sponsored by K&E Stewart Agri-Services. H2Go hits the stick, flips over sideways, and will be the first takedown of the match. An elimination for the Outcasts. That boat could not float. First up for the Junkyard Terror, Night Guard, sponsored by Farty Marty and driven by Michael Afton. Night Guard with a giant ramp preventer on the front, and it does the job more or less, bounces it back just about off, does not get underneath the stick, and is not quite to safety yet, but otherwise, good result. Old Growth Hauler, sponsored by Evil Twin for the Convoy. Old Growth Hauler not able to get underneath that ramp either. Pushes Night Guard off to the side and then goes up the ramp just a little bit. Stops at the back of the car where it hooks itself and sets up its own ramp. Bomb Voyage will take that ramp first, sponsored by Mad Brit King. Bomb Voyage bounces off the ramp, smashes into that giant thing on the front, and bounds backwards, makes the recovery happen. That's great news for the Assassins. Next up for the Crumblers, Draftnator, sponsored by Billy. Draftnator launches off the ramp and gets kind of caught up there, goes upside down, can't make the recovery over by its teammate. Looks like it's going to make a roll over on that mini nuke on the back of the truck, but not quite enough force. Purple Passion up next for the Iron Outcasts. Purple Passion ramps it, rebounds, cannot make the recovery, flips over. That's going to be another loss for the Outcasts. So far, 2 for 2. Ramp Jam, sponsored by Chris and Cat's Casa de Chaos, driven by Raphael. Ramp Jam takes the ramp, cannot set up its own, bounds backwards. Oh, I think something broke off of Old Growth Hauler. Junkyard Terror doing some damage with these unusual vehicles. Up for the Convoy, Attack Drone. Attack Drone looks like it has some agility, spins a couple of times, hits the wall, and makes the recovery happen. Launches all the way up to a 7 before making that recovery. Looks like a promising car for the Convoy. Up next for the Assassins, Grenade, sponsored by Hendrika's Heavy Hauling. A little boop from Grenade, and Ramp Jam flips over upside down, just enough force to topple it, and Junkyard Terror is gonna lose that vehicle. Assassins will also lose Grenade though. Dune Surfer, sponsored by River Hansen. Dune Surfer launches a nice little settling after smashing into the wall, and it looks like that is going to be a recovery. Cookie's Crumblers all piling up over on the left corner there. Tractor, sponsored by Scrapyard's Used Body Parts and Service. Tractor ramps it, flips right over, and goes to its doom. That'll be another loss for the Iron Outcasts, 3 for 3. They need a car that can survive that ramp. And I hear the rumbling must be a rock slide. This one is sponsored by William Aronson of the Joust Network. This round's random event. Let's see what happens when the vehicles hit these rocks. Cruella the Devil, sponsored by Star Corps Industries and driven by Graubart Dev. Somewhere underneath all that metal, there's a Cruella de Vil vehicle, but the rest of it all flips over upside down, smashes into the rocks, takes the ramp, and it's still on top of the flatbed, so might have a chance to get out of there somehow. Desert Master, sponsored by Moo Cow Horse Farm. A beautiful launch by Desert Master into the crates, and did it make the survival? No, it goes upside down. It will be out. That's a loss for the convoy. Papa Moose, sponsored by Chorgoth the Infinite Horror. Papa Moose flies into the air, and what a graceful flight it is, slamming into the walls and making the recovery. Looks like those metal gates with barbed wire kind of served as wings or something. Plunder, sponsored by Durian Motorsports. The Plunger car ramps it, and I think lands it. It hits those barbed wire gates on Papa Moose and kind of plants it. I think that's a recovery. Next up for the Outcast F1 Racer, sponsored by Salsa Mustache and Buffet. The F1 finally does it for the Outcasts. Quick barrel roll to a nice flat landing and helps out Plunder on the way there. Iron Outcasts breathe a sigh of relief. The German Wunder, sponsored by Tim the Bear Neal, driven by D&M. A very effective ramp takedown. Old Growth, though, survives the hit so far. It is going over, but right now is fine. And the German Wunder has saved Cruella the Devil as well, flipping it over on that big hit. 200-gram car. Hellride, also 200 grams, sponsored by Sicken. Hellride slices directly under German Wunder, throwing it up in the air. It does make a recovery. Rocks are still flying everywhere. Hellride all the way up to the front. No takedowns, but that vehicle looks dangerous. Up now, Elevator, sponsored by the Aardvark of Freedom. Elevator slots into place, tries to set up that ramp. Looks a little high up in the back. I'm not sure how well it's going to work. We'll see when Party Crasher 2.0 takes to the track, sponsored by Durian Motorsports. Party Crasher does indeed ramp and makes a great landing right over by the rest of the Cookies Crumblers team. They all land over in this area, and it has been good luck for 3 out of 4 of them. So far, so good for the Crumblers. The Ford C800, 200 grams, sponsored by the Test Joust series. The giant prow on the front is not able to penetrate that ramp, and it drives over. The cab comes off. The trailer's still on the track, but the cab is eliminated, and that's the part that counts for elimination. But now there's a massive cab on the track. We'll see what effect this has. 107 Gang Bus, sponsored by King Dresser, driven by Mark Rump. It gets right underneath that ramp, no problem. Quality ramp buster right there. Is not able to quite take it down, though. Starts to get under Hellride. That looks like it's close to 45, though. Here comes Cab Boom, sponsored by Stump's Tree Farm. Cab Boom looks like it's been through some mud on the way to the competition. Does not have any effect. Hits a wall that is strong and heavy. That was the final car for round 1 in the competition. Now we go through and find out which cars are beyond 45 degrees, sideways, upside down, they are out. Below 45, they are in. We have a close call. Actually, Elevator not that close. 36 degrees, no problem, that'll be a survive. And we will end up with 8 eliminations, 4 on one team. Everybody else lost 1. Taking a look at the aftermath, it was the Iron Outcasts that were hit hard by some of those ramps. The rest of these teams showed some impressive survival skills, all losing 1 apiece. It's anybody's game as we head into round 2, starting off with Old Growth Hauler, trying to set up that ramp for the Convoy, who are first in the randomized running order. With the ramp set up, Night Guard says no thank you and ends the Old Growth Hauler ramp immediately. All the metalwork and contraptions on top of these vehicles is doing the job. And now it's locked in. Pickup stick gets a little movement, can't take anybody down. Those things are too big, but now it has a ramp set up. Jacob loves the ramp, smashes into the cab of Old Growth Hauler, flips over to a nice recovery. We'll see if all of the Crumblers land in the same spot this time. The F1 Racer, final survivor for Iron Outcast. It does a lot of flipping. I can't even tell if it landed it. I think it might be upside down. Yes, it is out. Up in the safety area, we may have just lost the Outcasts. Stack Drone handles that ramp no problem. That's some solid agility right there. It lands over by Jacob. Just one elimination so far. Cruella the Devil down next, takes down that ramp, throws it off the track, no more stick, and its teammate manages to stay alive. Alaskan Assassin's immediately on top of this and tries to set up another ramp. We'll see if that works out for their team. Cookies Crumblers thriving on these ramps, handling them with ease. That's a good sign for a team when they can take a jump over and over and survive. Dune Surfer is safe. But no one is safe from Hellride, carving down the track all the way up to the front. Look at that. I think we're looking at least at a double takedown. It looks close for Cruella the Devil right there. Pickup stick is toast. And now we've got another random event. It is a zombie attack brought to you by the Sand Dragon Workshop. Looks like Cookie hired a zombie rescue squad to go rescue some zombies so they could attack cars on the track.
They've been in my cupboard with no labels.
Apparently this isn't as random as we thought. There's zombies everywhere. Let's see what happens when the next vehicle comes down. It's gonna be German Wunda. And it carves up the zombies and half of Hellride, but does not take Hellride out. Most of Hellride able to stay on the track despite that big hit. Looks like German Wunda picked up a stray zombie though. Papa Moose headbutts the German Wunda. It does not affect it at all too big. The zombie gets moved around a little bit. Plunder slams into position. We're starting to back up. Kaboom replaces Plunder. It goes up. It looks like it could go over, but it makes a nice landing, backing off the track to relative safety. The 107 gang bus creates havoc on the track. Papa Moose is flipped over. Almost makes a recovery with the moose horns, but can't do it. Hits out. Kaboom survives. Just one elimination on that hit. Bon Voyage slots in. We've got one car left in this round. Party Crasher 2.0 crashes into the line, does not do any damage. 3 eliminations so far, and we've got to take one measurement on Cruella the Devil, and we are going to lose one team. Looks like the front measurement on Cruella the Devil is good. However, we're going to try to get a measurement of the back of the car because these top parts could be off kilter. Tire to tire, it looks like Cruella is at 45 and will remain in the game. First out will be the Iron Outcasts. Thanks for joining this competition. Alaskan Assassins lose 2 down to 2. Junkyard, Terror, Cookies Crumblers, and the Convoy all still at 4. Could this match go the distance? A lot of cars left, a lot of good survivors. Jacob starts us off for Cookies Crumblers. But Jacob tries to escape the track and it ends tragically going over sideways. And now we've got a wide open track for the next contestant. Night Guard slams into the safety rail, bounces back rather gently, almost manages to stay locked in, goes curbside, and look at this, helps Jacob make a recovery. Just needed a little push by those things sticking out of the side. Old Growth Hauler with a nice steady run down the line, slots in, does not get underneath. Night Guard, and now the ramp is set up. Bon Voyage leaps off that ramp, flops around a little bit, but makes a nice recovery, using that slab of missiles on top of the car to good effect. Dune Surfer lifts off and gets caught up, flipping over. Cannot quite make that recovery happen, gets stuck upside down. That'll be a loss for the Crumblers. Cruella the Devil prevents that ramp. Look at that, flips the back end up in the air, but somehow Old Growth Hauler is hanging on, being bent severely, but still locked in the track. Kaboom slams Cruella, does not manage to get it to go anywhere. Old Growth hanging on. Kaboom vulnerable. Elevator strikes and takes down Kaboom. Convoy is finally going to lose a second car. And now we've got this round's random event. It is Winnebago Rampage. Winnebago is angry. Time to make that run. It's sponsored by Emo Dingo. Winnebago does cause some trouble this time. Old Growth Hauler finally tips and goes over. I think it was inevitable. No other cars taken out that time, but a lot of mess made. There is a jumble going on. Convoy loses 2 so far this round. As Plunger plunges into position, no damage done. The German Wunder wanders in and Winnebago is tossed over. Plunger escapes the track, but Elevator is taken down. That will bring the Assassins down to 1. And here comes the Hell Ride. German Wunder thrown off the track. I think it survived. It's tough to say right there. Junkyard Terror really shook up on that play. Cruella and Wunda both in trouble. Party Crasher lines up behind Hellride. 107 Gang Bus with a fantastic undercut there. Party Crasher survives it, although lost something off the car. Something got damaged. The bus not quite able to get all the way underneath Hellride, not able to get up to the front. And a nice little slot in by Attack Drone, which will keep Convoy going. 4 eliminations in this round, and we're going to take a measurement up front on Night Guard, which sounds a little bit like a deodorant you would wear at night. Night Guard is at 41 degrees, will survive the round for the Junkyard Terror. They will lose none. Convoy lost 2. Taking a look at the aftermath, they are down to 2. Alaskan Assassins fall to 1. Junkyard Terror still at 4, and the Crumblers at 3. 4 teams remain. This match is not over until there's only 2 teams left. 107 Gang Bus starts us off. Followed up by Jacob for the Crumblers, who had a nice recovery last round with a little help, and does a good job this time of escaping. Attack Drone slots in. Everything seems calm so far, but it's a random Calamity Zombie level 2. The zombies have a car and they are gonna crash it. Let's see what happens. The zombie car slams into Attack Drone, throws it off the track, just hurls it away. It makes a fantastic whirling recovery, and unbelievably so does the zombie car. Rolls over on top of some of the zombies, squishes some of them, but it lands it. Wow, I don't know how that cheerleader got all the way over there. Bon Voyage slams into the line and tightens it up solid. Maybe not that solid though. Cruella the Devil pushes Bon Voyage forward. Gang Bus is forced off the track and possibly eliminated. That looks very close. And now there's no question of it. Plunder finishes Gang Bus off. It goes over upside down. I don't see a recovery for that. Looks like Junkyard Terror will fall to 3. Here comes Hellride. Wow, what a slam, and there was resistance there. Hellride not able to penetrate that far this time. No eliminations. Cruella looks close, but I don't think that's out, at least not yet. The German Wunder comes down, piles underneath Hellride, takes Hellride out. All of the cars have been eliminated. It was only the front one that needed to get turned sideways, and it did. I'm not sure if that hit caused Cruella to go over or not. Party Crasher slams the line. Cruella tips even further, it looks like to me. No change otherwise. 107 Gang Bus with a nice loft of Party Crasher, but look at that nice level recovery by Party Crasher, keeping Cookie in this match. It looks like we'll get 2 eliminations in this round, and we're going to take a measurement. It was another close call for Cruella, and measuring the wheels this time, 47 degrees. It is going to be out. That's going to knock 2 out for Junkyard Terror, take us up to 3 on the round. Taking a look at the aftermath, Cookie's Crumblers pull out into the lead. A solid round, no eliminations for them. Junkyard Terror at 2. Convoy is only at 1 now with the loss of Hellride. Assassins sticking in at 1. And we're going to start out round 5 with some inclement weather. The wind is getting strong. This is sponsored by Reaper EOD. Could be a tornado down the line, but right now just enough wind to knock a bomb onto the track. I think that bomb was in the middle of town somewhere. I don't know how the wind picked it up and threw it out here, but Jacob will be the first to crash into it. Hopefully it doesn't blow. Jacob has no problem shoving that bomb off the track. Luckily, it did not explode. And then German Wonder follows up, lofts Jacob into the sky. Jacob looks like he's gonna recover, hits an 8, gets way up there, lands, and just a little instability right at the end. Jacob is finished without some help. Bit of a tap from Bon Voyage, does not do any damage. Funny that Bon Voyage is right in front of that bomb. Attack drone slots in, we got 3 cars lined up. Party Crasher attempts to take down on attack drone, cannot make it happen. Gang Bus blows into the line, annihilates everything on the line, throws it all around. Attack drone with a fantastic recovery. Bon Voyage is eliminated for sure. The German Wunder looks like it recovered, but I'm not sure about Gang Bus. Plunger slams into the line, does not change much. Looks like Party Crasher is settling down safely. We've got one for sure elimination at the end of this round, but we have to take a couple more measurements. There sure has been a lot of them, a lot of close calls. The bus is good to go, not even close. Bon Voyage is out, 58 degrees. That'll take us up to 2 eliminations, and we're gonna lose another team. Alaskan Assassins finally fall, they did well. Cookies Crumblers fall to 2. They are tied now with the Junkyard Terror and Convoy still at 1. One more team gets eliminated, this is over. Again, the round is starting off with a random event. It's a rock slide level 2. Even bigger rocks are falling in this rock slide. It is getting dangerous out there. They're falling way back by the track buffer. This is going to be interesting. The German Wunder will take the hit. 200-gram vehicle. It drives through all the rocks, the track buffer, and drives over everything. Tries to escape the track, couldn't quite get away. That looks like a vulnerable position. And indeed it was. Plunger takes full advantage of it, diving, pushing off, escaping the track completely, recovering, and taking that vehicle out. But then Attack Drone zooms in and helps it recover. Feels like the German Wunder owes a debt to Attack Drone right there. Lots of rocks on the track. Gang Bus hurdles down the line, and I don't know exactly what happened there, but it just tips over and wipes out. Attack Drone escapes yet again despite all the rocks, and that bus is tipped. Party Crasher flies on past, doesn't do any damage except to itself, somehow bouncing off of those rocks, getting stuck up against the wall. Always a deadly place to land for any vehicle, and that is going to be a loss for Cookies Crumblers. That'll be 2 eliminations in this round, no measurements for once. Taking a look at the aftermath, both of the losses were from teams that could afford it, but now no one can afford a loss. All 3 of these vehicles need to survive to get their team into the main event as we start out round 7 with Attack Drone. This thing has been surviving so well for Convoy. It has kept them in the match. It could get them in the main event. And it does a solid recovery there, landing on top of Plunger, getting stuck on those spikes sticking out of the toilet. It's right side up, but that does not look safe for either of these vehicles. And now we've got another random event. It's one we've never seen before, Rock Slide Level 3, and there is a giant rock that just slid onto the track. I don't know where that rock came from. It's huge. It is going to protect both of those cars, I'm pretty sure, from this next hit by the German Wunder. Even 200 grams. Can it push that rock forward? It cannot. The rock has stopped German Wunder from ending this match potentially. The Apocalypse is a strange and dangerous place, and that rock has prevented any eliminations from happening in this round. We will increase the speeds of all the vehicles and go back up to the top. This time, the random event, it's a rat. The rat takes the place of the buffer. Faster speeds, let's see what happens to the rat when Plunger takes to the track, going first in this round. Plunger takes that rat out, just knocks it off the track. The rat goes upside down, probably unconscious. Plunger is curbside. Attack Drone attempts a takedown, does not manage to get it. Stays out of the spiky toilet at least this time. German Wunder with the takedown attempt, and it does it! Look at this, Attack Drone is upside down. It latches onto the spikes. of Plunger, and Plunger tips over, pulled over to its demise by Attack Drone. Cookies Crumblers have been eliminated from the match in round 8. We have our two teams. They will go on to the main event. They survived the longest. Cookie even with more points than the convoy, but no remaining cars. However, in our wild card slot, Cookies Crumblers have just overtaken Jester's Rogue Gallery for second. Our top 2 wild cards will make it into the main event. That means Jester and Smiler's Institution and Cookies Crumblers could make it in the main event, depending on what happens in the final qualifier. But Junkyard Terror and the Convoy will join the big fight of the main event, guaranteed. Congrats to our winners. Thank you everybody for participating in this. There's the qualified teams so far. And now it's time to batten down the hatches and take cover. There's a storm coming. Consider becoming a patron of Junkyard Joust. There's a link in the description. Check it out. I could use your help to make the next new season of Junkyard Joust. Become a sponsor now and help me make it happen. Cheers, everybody. We'll see you next Sunday for the final qualifier of the Apocalypse Joust.